Oh, I like how this looks.
Yeah.
Wait, am I looking here or am I looking there?
Most people look this way.
Okay, here. Okay.
But you can go back and forth if you want.
No, that's kind of weird. Okay.
Some people do that. So, Roshaun Davis, co-founder of Unseen Heroes.
Founder to...
Founder.
Wait, we're recording.
So
we're recording.
you are recording.
Okay. All right, okay. Co-founder.
How did you get here?
How did I get here? That's a loaded question.
You're welcome.
Right? Like, how did you get here? I always wonder, like, where's here, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how I got here. It's just a series of taking little steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting. I used to sit and visualize myself being this age. I used to look in the mirror.
Whoa.
Which is weird. I know, it's weird. I used to look in the mirror and I used to look at myself dead in the eyes and try and picture myself being 30 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Until like I would kind of take shape and form, like, and kind of see myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. I know. I was a little kid. I was
not
like
weird,
7 doing this, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, I say that to say, like, I think where I am in my life and everything that I've gotten to be and gotten to experience and gotten to have has come back to that little 7-year-old boy, like, thinking about and like visualizing where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the base of it. And from there, being able to understand that I can rewrite my story and change the narrative of what I'm doing to grow, expand, be in different places. That's the deep answer.
Mic drop.
That's the deep answer. I went to school, Sacramento and Kansas when I was younger. My dad was in the Army, so floated around. Got back to Sacramento in probably 6th grade, somewhere around there. Went to Einstein Middle School, went to Hiram Johnson. Had a lot of fun.
In between.
A couple years after high school. Then I had a kid at 20. Started to change my life around. And then got to go to college. College is where I learned journalism, learned to tell a story. Met Maritza, who's my wife now.
Another co-founder.
And the co-founder of Unseen Heroes. Shout out. And then through that was in music. So we did a lot of music stuff. When I met Maritza, she was like, I want to help out where I can. So she started helping out. And then our music started to grow. And then people started to ask us, who's doing that for you guys? And then I was just like, we're doing it. It's just the thing, like, I love to do. I wanted to, like, make it. You know what I mean? So I was, like, doing everything that I could do to make it.
Right.
So I would see people who had made it and be like, what do they have that I don't have? Oh, they have a press kit. So I'm going to make a press kit. Okay, cool. What do they have that I don't have? Oh, they have a manager. So I'm going to make a manager. And so I started faking like we had a manager because there was no one to manage our band. And then from there, we started getting like some good shows, and then that's kind of where I met Maritza, and so she took on that role of being our manager, but for real. So then it was like this fake manager named Sean, and then Maritza, and then we would roll together until it got to the point where she could handle it by herself, and then she was making the deals, and then people started asking us to do that for them.
Oh.
Yeah, and then from there we were like, all right, maybe we have something here. Maybe we have a company here. And then I started doing the calculations. I was working at the state, and I was like, if I can get a group or an artist to pay me this little amount that I'm making at the state as a student assistant while I go to college, I could free up my time and I could grow this thing and do pretty much do what I love full time.
Right.
And once I started doing that, I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. Let's take on some clients. And so we started taking on small clients, and they were like artists, photographers,
Okay.
musicians, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like our clients. And that allowed me to, I say serendipitously, right? But I got let go from the state around that same time where we were kind of growing this thing that was called Unseen Heroes. And I was like, perfect. Now I have more time and I have this client base. Let me start doing it more.
Right.
And around that time, then small businesses started hitting us up, and then like medium-sized businesses started hitting us up to do the same thing, which was public relations, marketing, design, consulting, and events. And so from there, started growing that into the medium to large businesses, which then brought the corporate businesses in, which then brought the city developers in, which then brought the city districts in, which then brought all those people in, which is, the entire community now.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey of growth, but that's pretty much how I got here. It's just like visualizing it, faking it till you make it, making it, and then growing.
Yeah. Do you miss the music aspect?
Yes, I do, a lot. I miss it a lot.
Okay.
But it's interesting because for me, I used to look at a piece of paper like this, and I would say, I'm still kind of confined to my lines, right? Like I have X amount of lines, and then I go all the way across the paper, and then I have to go back to the other side of the paper, and then I go there, flip page. And so to me that felt kind of confining, and I never wanted to be confined to like my creativity to just living on paper and then living in audio. So I consciously made the decision not to do music anymore.
Okay.
When I made that decision to take my creativity off the page, which is now I just live in a world of create, right? Like create this business, create this, create that, create solutions for clients. So the world is now my music.
Your paper.
My paper, I don't know. But I do miss music. I still write music, I still rhyme, I still make silly songs up, I still do all of that. I have like, my phone is full of like melodies. So like right now I could probably go into the studio and write a whole entire album and have it be fire. You know what I mean? That takes time. So yeah, but I miss it.
Okay. How is it Unseen Heroes? Why did you choose Unseen Heroes? How did that brand get developed?
It's interesting. So with that, I remember us watching TV, and it was one of the award shows, and there was someone standing up there with one of their awards, and they're like, I'd like to thank Leilani, I'd like to thank Roshaun, I'd like to thank so-and-so, and you're just like, who are all these people that they're thanking? That's what I was thinking. And then it kind of hit me as like, okay, these are all the people that work behind the scenes to get that person to that space. And that's why they're thanking them, and it's like, okay, those are like the unseen heroes. Those are the unseen heroes behind the scenes making things happen.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the idea behind it. It was like, oh, okay, that's what we want to be for our clients. We want to be the people that are behind the scenes working, making sure our client is in the spotlight. Hence the unseen hero, we make them the hero of the journey.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Learning all kinds of new
I
stuff. am. Thought you knew.
I did not thought. I know nothing. I know nothing. What was I going to say from that? When you first started, were you just taking any client and every client? And how has that shifted now, being where you guys are and as popular as you are?
Yeah, I think taking on clients wasn't the right word. I think we were just trying to get any client that we could.
Okay.
It's like, oh, yeah, we can do that for you. Oh, yeah, we can do that for you. You need what? Got it. We can do it for you. So I think that was the base of it. And I think you have to start there, you know what I mean? Because in that you learn what you are good at and what you're not good at. But there's going to be successes there's going to be failures there. And then you come out to like this even kind of, as you get older in it and like more seasoned in it, it's like, we're not good at that. We actually tried that before and it didn't go well. Let's not repeat it.
Yeah.
Let's take that one off. But at first that was it. It was like, yeah. And probably about 3 or 4 years into our business, Maritza's friend actually sat us down and she was like, look, you guys offer public relations, you offer marketing, you offer design, you offer consulting, you offer events. That's a lot. She's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been in this industry about 25 years. In the design world, you're never gonna win against like this big design firm.
Right.
In the public relations world, you're never gonna win against like an Ogilvy or something like that. They have satellite offices that are here in Sacramento. That are around the world.
And that's what they specialize in.
And that's what they specialize in, right? Same thing with marketing. And so she went down the whole thing and she was like, but what there's not? She's like, there's not an event agency. She's like, usually when all of these people get their contracts, it has some sort of PR, some kind of event activation in it, but they're having to rely on whoever the coordinator is for that account to execute these things.
It's very true.
And she's like, you guys have a magic in creating these experiences that supersede what that person that just coordinates it can do.
Right, right.
She's like, you need to drop all of those things and just focus on events.
Yeah.
And we were like, but wait, we're making like $600 over here, you know, on this design project. And she was like, trust me, do it. And from there, it's like what we thought was like, I always say like what we thought was like cutting off one of our arms actually was cutting off an anchor. Because we were able to go in and say, we're Unseen Heroes, we're an event agency, and we specialize in events. And we specialize in creating unforgettable experiences through interactive events. And then what we did is we tucked our marketing, our design, our public relations underneath that. And we didn't offer it as of this outside world, but once you came into the house, we're all in one house. So you don't have to go to the design firm, you don't have to go to the marketing firm if you're coming in through the event. Got it. Which really changed and allowed us to then like pick and choose who we wanted to come through the door. Because then if someone came through the door and was like, hey, I just want you to do some PR for me. It's like, we're an event agency. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And it's like, oh, we want you to do this branding for us. We're an event agency. Sorry. Yeah. Or it allows us to choose like, okay, what are you doing after that? If you want us to do your brand, what are you doing? Are you doing like a grand opening? Are you doing like a product launch? Are you going to be in the community and want to be at different events? Because if that's the case, then we can lead you all the way through that process and get you there. Yeah. But if you just want us for this one little thing, it's probably not going to work. Yeah. So. And not to cut you off. No. Now that you have that, are there events that you're turning down that people come to you for? We've been pretty blessed to have, yes. I was going to say, I started thinking about something that we're like, no, we're not doing that. People come to us and we're like, it's probably not going to work out. Yeah. And it's because we are so passionate about the events that we produce that if people are already coming to us and they're like, hey, you guys cost a lot, but can we work out a deal? Like, if you guys don't do X, then we get money back. And it's like, that's not the deal that we want to strike. Like, if you're already, it's kind of like you banking on us doing something wrong so you can get money back. Yeah. But still say that we did your event. That doesn't really work. Right. You know, and so that puts your name on something that you didn't want to do, or you know, that doesn't feel right. And that's been it's a challenge, you know what I mean, because you always want to say yes, but sometimes you need to say no, you know, and that's one of the things. Even now, it's our 10th year, right? But even in that, there still comes like some that are like, ooh, should we say yes to that? We could probably just knock that out real quick. It's like, yeah, but we don't want to be that. You know? We don't want to be that agency that's just knocking stuff out real quick just to make a buck. You know? It's like, the things we do are very impactful, and it's more than just money. Right. And so it's like refining that process all the time. So we sit down like every year and we say like, all right, let's refine this. Let's write this story again to make sure we're like, you see it, that's what we're going through now. It's like, make sure we are meeting the needs of our community, whether it be our micro and small business community, our medium to large, our corporate, and then just the people who live in the community, and are we making sure that it's impactful, the things we're doing, not just for cash. Right.
Because like you said, you're creating unforgettable experiences. Like I almost feel like you shouldn't call yourself an event company. It's an unforgettable experience company.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. It's so funny you say that, because yesterday, and we call them forwards instead of retreats, which is just like something that we learned, right? And so in our forward, one of the gals was like, you know what, I feel like the event agency title is kind of limiting now, you know, and it's like, yeah, it actually is, you know, because now we've grown into this community that is more than just events, but we are creating these experiences for people.
Yeah. What has been your favorite experience?
Ooh. There's a lot. We've had a lot of fun things.
Top three.
I think to date, my favorite experience has been when we did the Young Democrats party, like after party. Yeah. And it was Common and DJ Jazzy Jeff and Gavin Newsom got up, and it was kind of like his after party, or the Young Democrats after party. Right. And there was this moment where Common was talking about hip hop and what hip hop meant to him, and how hip hop had guided him, and how hip hop has gotten him to that place. And he was talking about the physical space on stage. And I was sitting in the back of the venue, and I'm looking at him and listening to him, and it was really like this connection of like, dude, you don't even know how deep what you're saying actually goes, because hip hop is what led me to opening this company and like growing this business to the point to where that stage could be built, you know, and have these people here to create this experience. And so it was like this meeting of hip hop that just like through all these years just like met at that moment of like, it came from that, you know what I mean? And so that was probably my favorite experience, like sitting in there, I was just like got chills, like, whoa, like you don't even understand how deep that goes. Did
you tell him after?
No.
Common if you're watching.
Common if you're watching this. What really happened? So that was probably my favorite experience. Like when it comes to events, I love Gather. I think what Gather has done for specifically this Oak Park community has been amazing, and like really, it really healed and I'll say is healing the community in a way that nothing has before. You know what I mean? So we just finished with our 5th year of that, and you can just
already.
It's crazy, right?
Whoa.
It's bananas.
Yeah,
we were like, whoa, it has been 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, like in the last 5 years to see where Oak Park was and where it is now and where it'll continue to go. It's like having that third space that we created for people to come together and like meet their neighbors and have these conversations and sit with each other and dance with each other and drink with each other has really changed the vibe. So that's one of my favorite ones too.
How have you gotten the Oak Park community to buy in to Gather?
It's interesting.
Like the OG Oak Park community. I don't think we have to,
well, and I say this in the past, right? Like, I don't think that we've had to have people buy into it, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because when we started the concept of Gather, Maritza and I like literally like sat around and really took into account, and I think this is what makes us different from like other people, right? Like we really took into account our culture, right? African American, Latino, and built what was to become Gather based off of our culture and our cultural experiences, right? And not just like, oh, we're gonna do this thing because it's cool.
Right.
So for us, you know, we thought about it. It's like, what do we like to do? What do we like to do as cultures? What do we like to do as people? And it's like, yo, we like to eat, and we like to invite people into the house. And like, if we're really vibing with you, you're gonna come to the house and eat, right? You're gonna hang out. We're gonna have these moments together, right? And so that's what we built it on, and that then became kind of the base of like, we want this to feel like it's somebody's house, and it's just like a nice little dinner party with like people that you love and you connect with. And I think once we were able to not necessarily market but push that message out to the community, then it was about just redefining that and pushing, you know, and continue to push that message. And so, you know, you'll have the hipsters that come in are like, yo, this is cool, dude. It's like, it's cool, but that's not what it's about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't just come here and just get drunk and get sloppy drunk. And you can have a good time, but this is what it goes back to. And I think we've just stuck to that truth of like really taking it back to that point. And like making sure it stays a community event. But there's a lot of work that we do throughout the years to like really make sure that message stays, even in this sense of like this gentrification that's trying to occur in the neighborhood. But like we have Aztec dancers out there at the beginning of each year, you know what I mean, to like really bless the street, and that's on purpose. That's intentional. The music is very intentional too. Like we go for global music. We're not going for hipster or anything like that. It's like, this is global, and this is because that ties back to our roots. And I think that's what has like really, that's the work we did at the beginning, and like understood. It's like we're doing this for a bigger purpose, and it's to tie in the neighborhood that was here and show respect to the OGs that are already here, but then create a path for people who really want to be a part of the community growing forward to be a part of it too, and not saying like, oh, because you're new to the neighborhood you can't be here. And that was the disconnect that we saw before, like as we were building it. It's like, you have the OGs here that have always been here and are looking at new people like, who are these people? And then you have these new people that are coming in and they're like, well, we want to be here. We like the neighborhood. We love it too. Can we? And you know, it's like,
can we break bread?
And so it was like, all right, let's give them that opportunity to come together. And that's what Gather has been and has grown to, and continues to like grow into, which is interesting.
It is a very unique experience.
It is.
And I appreciate it very much.
On purpose.
Dude.
But it takes a lot of energy.
So what's kind of that process throughout the year to be intentional with that, so that it, you know, that feeling is still there?
It's a lot of like putting our neck on the line, to be honest, like putting our neck on the line and like dealing with like the business associations and like all those people that are like, oh, do we want this here? Oh, I don't know. It's like, it's been here for a while. You guys can do it on your own, you know? And it's like going to bat like on the backside of that and saying like, no, this is for the community. It needs to be here. And you guys need to see the value in it. So there's a lot of like fighting for value that is just like from the community side. People are like, yo, I love this thing, don't ever take it away. But on the back end, it's like going into meetings and like really having to stand up and say like, nah, this is value. And it's not just going to be here just by itself. You're gonna have to help us, you know, because everybody wants to have like, they want to, you know, hold the shiny trophy of like, oh, we have this here, but they don't want to get their hands, roll their sleeves up and get their hands dirty and really go talk to people and say like, yo, this is for you. Don't feel like you're excluded from this. Like, this is for you.
Yeah.
There might be a whole bunch of other people here, but that was built for everybody, not for one segment, for everybody. And on the flip side, is having those conversations, like, yo, this is for you. It's okay, you can come in. But this is the vibe that's here.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that, to be honest with you. It's like a lot of energy work and a lot of having conversations with our partners and saying, like, all right, how are we going to do this? How are we going to keep this authentic to us, but have it be a good experience as well? So
it's cool.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years, and it hasn't gotten easier, which is interesting. You would think it would get easier. Like, there would be people that are like shelling out a whole bunch of money to like be a part of it, and it's like, honestly, that's not. First of all, that's not really what it's about.
Right.
Which is probably why we haven't like manifested that, right? Like, but it's just about like standing up for something that's bigger than us and really like holding space for it. And that's what Gather is and continues to be.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it shows. Like, you see people who are different from each other sitting at the same table, maybe conversing with each other. So
yeah, it's beautiful. Like, when I just get to like stand back and look and say, like, yo, all that energy we did, all that, you know, all those like tough conversations, and like people. Oh, this last year was just crazy with the lady that lives on the block. She's like, you know, calling Maritza, you know, all kinds of names because she wants us to move it to a different place, and like just really being rude about like when we're setting up, like throwing water around, and just like, it's like, dude, we're doing this for the entire community. You can't park in your space for 4 hours and you're upset. But having to deal with it, you know, and like, you know what? I respect you. I see you for the person you are.
yeah.
I'm not going to engage with you. There's a bigger thing happening here. But if this bigger thing wasn't happening here, then you would have words right now.
Right.
But having to hold that energy, it takes a certain takes a certain energy.
I keep going back to hurt people. So this is just her way of getting her hurt out.
Oh yeah. You should have saw her the first day, like, and everybody sees it. Everybody sees it. Like, everybody's having a good time, and she's just like up on her railing, like pushing water off, and like people are like, "Yo, what's up with her?" Like, she should be part of this community, but you want to do that, and you know, it's just like, it's just karma, you know what I mean? It's like, and that's what I always rely on. Is like, I don't need to say anything to you. We've built a community that will see you for who you are, and it'll correct itself. Yeah, you know, and so I just send her love and light. And anybody who doesn't believe in the vision and doesn't want to be a part of the community, I send them love and light, because it's always going to prevail.
Detour. Let's talk about Display and Damas. How did those come to fruition?
Just crazy, being crazy kids.
Because I remember when Display was not what Display is now, and Display changed as an event marketing space or an event space every few months, weeks.
Our pop-up shop concept. Display, Damas. So that started probably like 2012 was probably like when we had the concept for that. And it's interesting because we had that concept to do pop-up shops, and then the whole idea was to do these pop-up shops and then every now and then pop out into the community to do this big event that showcased what was in here on a larger scale, and then pop back down. But we got the opportunity to do this big event called the Good Street Food and Design Market first. And from there, we met a lot of makers, a lot of designers, a lot of people who were just creative in Sacramento. And what we found is we did that every first Sunday, but every other day there was no opportunities for them to make money.
Right.
And so they would come up to us and be like, yo, when are you guys doing more events? Like, we make money at your events. We've been doing events for a long time, but there's something about what you guys have that people actually come and they spend money and it's the right crowd. Like, when are you guys doing something next? And I was like, why? Why do you guys always ask that? And they're like, because I make money on this first Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yo, well, what about the second, third, and fourth Sunday?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You
Right.
know? They're like, well, we try and do events, but that's why we want you to do more. And so it was that, and I always say this, like, the experiences we create come from these solutions, right? And so, or that's what we're trying to do, is create a solution. And so seeing the need of the makers, designers, and artists in this space, and then seeing this empty retail like sit empty for hella long, we were like, there's empty retail space and there's people who want to fill it. Like, why not collaborate and bring those people together? And that was pretty much what Display was this idea of, let's do these pop-up shops and then take all the people who wanted to be a part of these pop-up shops and put them in a space, so then that way they can point to this one store location and be like, hey, I'm here at this event, but Monday through Saturday you can catch me at this space. And then when you have 50 people doing that, it creates this one space that you can get authentic local stuff at. And so that was Display. And the way that we knew the things that we knew of the area, the things that we knew of all the makers and designers, and just us being in our event background, we would switch out the themes every 6 to 8 weeks. Because we wanted to make it very special, right? And so just understanding people and saying, like, if you have menswear and there's someone else who has kids clothing, right? They're not the same demographic at the same time. Maybe sometimes, but what we found is like, okay, so let's do like this one curated men's pop-up where we take all the men's makers, designers, and put them in a space and we exclusively sell their stuff. And then we did like, you know, so we did like a wedding chapel. We did a pop-up wedding chapel. And people actually got married there, which was crazy. You know, but it's kind of giving people an experience, giving people a tailored kind of shopping experience as well, and then also supporting the local economy, all in this one idea. And so, but then, also understanding that people were not going to come to Oak Park just to hang out and walk around, especially 5 years ago, right?
There's nothing here.
There was nothing to do here, right? And so we were like, okay, if we want people to come back here, then we got to switch it all up and say, when they walk in the door, hey, in 6 weeks, this place is going to look completely different. You might want to come back. So it was that attraction point to get people to come back. And you would see it every time we had a grand opening. People would come in and they'd be like, holy shit, how did you do this? This wall was painted green last time I came in here, now it's blue. Like, this wall wasn't even here. Like, how did you guys do it? So it was a way for us to show off our creativity, give people a new experience, and then also support that local ecosystem, all in this one idea. And so that was Display, and it was that way for maybe about 2 or 3 years, but then in the last 2, because we've been there 5 years too, what we started to find more of was people wanted the neighborhood changed, and people were now just walking over and like being a part of the neighborhood. And it's not critical mass yet, but you know, just in a space where regulars were coming. And so then they were like, hey, I saw this kids clothes last time I was here, where are those? And we're like, oh, we don't have those anymore, sorry. And they were like, oh man, I want the same things. I was like, so we started getting that a lot. And we were like, okay, maybe it's time for us to change and like give people local product all year round. Instead of like this pop-up experience. And so it's just about being able to adapt to that and understand like, okay, This is what you want.
Right.
Now we're at a different level.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And so then that's how display came to be like
it.
a little bit more permanent, where we focus on local makers or California makers and designers year round. And our goal is to put California made products in homes around the world, which is cool. Because now we're working on like collaborations with hotels to put like California made products in hotels.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Damas came kind of 2 years ago. Maritza was like, we're turning away a lot of people who weren't made in California. And I want to support women makers and designers. And so it was like a mix of those things. So she was seeing a lot of strong women makers and designers that didn't have a hub, same as like we did with display. And so she said, all right, I want to start Damas, which is ladies in Spanish, and so it's for women by women. So we focus on women-made products there from all over the world, which is cool. So we can, if you have a product that a woman has made, you can sell it there, which is dope.
Cool.
So on top of all the events, on top of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
so how do you manage all of that?
Just some of the stuff we do. Life, kids, life.
Like as a company, how do you manage multiple events at the same time and display in Damas? And then the second part of that is, how do you manage your own time?
I don't know. No, I think now, and we're getting there more and more because it's all a learning lesson.
Right.
It's like we're still young in learning how to operate all of those things. This last 5 years has been a lot of growth, a lot of trial, a lot of error, a lot of success, a lot of failure. It's been a lot of all of those things. And so I think now the way that we're able to operate now 2 stores in different locations and then multiple events, like last year we probably did about, the last one I stopped counting, we were at about 200 and something events
in a year.
In 1 year.
Whoa, Roshaun.
Crazy. On top of the 2 stores.
Yeah. And there's only like maybe 10 of you?
8. There's 8 of us. But then we have our crew too, which is like our event staff that come in day of, which that usually is about 20 people. I think the way that we're able to manage it is we have a great team now. And that's probably the only way we're able to manage it. We have the world's best retail manager right now. So she manages both the stores and pretty much the day-to-day operation of that. We have an event director now that has come in because Maritza has gotten recruited by the Kings, and so she kind of filled in Maritza's space and is making sure all of those things operate smooth on that side. And then we have amazing event producers and designers and so I think that's how we do it, is we really have a good team, a strong team, and people who really care about what we're doing more so than just, hey, let's do this and make money. It's one of the gals that works with us, she manages the Midtown Farmers Market and really stands for the market and is real all about it. So this last weekend we're like, do we close the market because of all the fires and things like that and the air quality? And she's like, I've been on the phone with the vendors all morning. Some of them who don't want to come out aren't coming out, but there are some who are like, I want to come out. This is the weekend before Thanksgiving. This is when I make the most money. Please don't cancel the market. And she's like, they're going to be there, I'm going to be there. Let's do this. Yeah. And it's to have that kind of dedication is key. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a team effort. There's no way we could do this just 2 of us. Yeah. You know what I mean?
At least not 200 of them.
Yeah.
So 2 questions off of that. One is, are there any softwares that you use to kind of manage everything? And then the other side is, when you hire people, what are you looking for?
So on the managed side software, we use Asana, which is a task-based system. Have you heard of it? It's pretty dope. That one's been like our key. And it's a way for us to communicate on specific tasks to get done. We can assign them, we can timeline them. It really like helps productivity.
Yeah.
And then for communication, we use Slack, which has taken like 2 years for me to like indoctrinate right into like our team. But I was like, yo, we just need more clear communication. You're saying this, and when I'm not here, you're saying this, and like you're hearing this. It's like, how does that all work? And so Slack has become now 2 years later the hub for our communication. Everybody's on it.
Yeah.
Questions go out there, people answer. So that has been like a game changer to have everybody on the same page.
Totally.
And then even if it's like, yo, I heard this in the office, they put it on Slack. And it's like, no, that's not kind of what you heard. It was maybe a little bit, but this is what it really is, you know? And so it's been a tool. I say those are probably the main 2 for us. I mean, Google Drive we use, so we're always like on the same document when we're working. Google Sheets, Google Slide, like the whole G Suite has been dope to use. So yeah, that's on that side as far as software.
Okay.
What we look for in people, it's interesting. It's vibe. Like it comes down to vibe. Like we look for people who can like really fit our vibe, and like kind of when you meet somebody, like this person fits in here, you know.
But then like the first 5 minutes, you just don't need to come in. It's okay.
But it's really about vibe and like passion, you know what I'm saying? And then I think as the co-founder, as the CEO, I always look for people who are, their natural ability is, I call it their performance, right? If their performance fits in with our ethos, I can always tell. Like our retail manager, she tells us all the time, she's like, yo, when I was a little girl, I used to sit and dream about running a retail shop and flying to LA and picking out clothes and putting them in the stores and managing these stores. Like she is really living to that performance, right? And that's what I look for in people, is like, is this really what you want? Like this is not just a job,
right?
It's a lifestyle,
right?
You know, like we're building community in like all of these different spaces, but it takes a certain energy, and you can't just come to check boxes,
right?
You know, and so like I look for people in that, is like, is this part of your natural performance? Is it just something like you love to do and you can do it for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours? Because if that's the case, then you'll show up every time in that, you know? And so that's kind of, I mean, we also look at like the strength finders test to look at people's strengths and see if they fit in.
They do that for their class. So.
Yeah, so we do the strength finders test, and you can always tell, you know, and then we kind of map it out. We say like, okay, these are where we're strong at. Okay, we probably need somebody in here on this side, because we don't have a lot of executing on our team right now. We need some executors in here. Let's get them in here. Yeah. So we do look at that, and then just like experience too, and then other things is just like people's willingness to kind of jump in. So a lot of people actually get hired through. We have our crew, which is Unseen Heroes crew, and that's just the day of crew people. So they'll get a Slack message and say, hey, we have an event on this day, this day, this day. Whoever wants to take it can take it. And that's where a lot of people start with us, actually, is because we can always tell people's work ethic by like, are you willing to just kind of jump in? Like, you know, if someone comes in and they're like, hey, I want $25 an hour, 40 hours a week, and I just want to sit behind a desk. It's like,
you're in the wrong industry, my friend.
You don't want to get out here in these streets and roll your sleeves up. Probably not the job for you, you know. But if they start with crew and you can tell, like, they'll roll their sleeves up and get in there, then they kind of move up the ladder or move into the tribe a little bit more.
Cool. What is the vibe in here? If you had to put some words on it.
Underground yet professional.
Ooh.
No, I say that because that was like literally on my vision board like years ago when we made our vision board. I put like this title that said like underground yet professional. And then I look around and I'm like, yo, we're professional, but yeah, we still got our underground vibe. Living out my vision board over here. But cool. You know, for me, it's like, I think the vibe here is very much like community. Like, love being a part of it. There's a lot of passion here. And then there's a lot of like, just people being their natural selves. You know, that's something I'm really big on. Like, show up as you. Don't show up as what you think the world wants of you. Show up as you, and you always make it. And that's something I had to learn going through this process of building the company. I used to think like no one was going to hire me if I didn't show up in the suit and tie and speak the right words and say the right things and shake the right hand, shake hands the right way. And it was just like, but this is fake. This is not me. Like, I need to be me authentically, you know? And it's just like, got it. So now I show up just as me. I can have silver shoes on one day.
Your shoe game is on point, my friend.
I wear my big skull ring, like, and I just sit down in front of corporate people, like, yo, this is me, guys. Hey.
Yeah.
We can help you.
Yeah.
But I just want to lay it all out. And I think that's the vibe that we've created around here, too. It's like, you can be yourself. Yeah. You know, and you can still kind of create. And that's the other one. It's just like, the vibe here is very creative, too. And I say that in a deep, deep sense of the word of like, we're creating our own paths, we're creating our own life, we're creating for the community, we're creating at all times. So that's it, that's the vibe.
Cool.
Hopefully someone else won't come in and be like, no, that's not it. Roshaun always makes us work so hard.
I mean, nobody's in here right now, so I'm going to say you probably don't make them work so hard. I mean, not that they don't work hard, but it is the day before Thanksgiving.
I'm like, you guys are taking the day before Thanksgiving off? What? No.
Yeah.
So.
That's funny. I have so many more questions for you, but I'm going to keep within the theme of what this is. So we're going to have to do a twofer if that's okay for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Any pieces of advice for anyone that's looking to either break into marketing or just looking to further their career?
What would my advice be? I think my advice would be, if I could take in kind of the last 10 years of my life, is try and solve a problem for the world. I think that would be it. Is if you can solve a problem for the world, then you have something there. Okay. But if you're trying to solve a problem for yourself, it usually doesn't work out. You know what I mean? That would be it. Is to, I mean, you have to play that big, you know, and it takes stepping outside of yourself and really understanding what you're here for in general, you know. But that's like one piece of advice that I could like really like push people for, is like, if there's a problem that's big enough to be solved by the world or for the world, then you're onto something, you know. And you might not ever solve it fully, but if you're on that track, then you're somewhere.
Yeah. What's the problem that you're solving?
Mediocrity. That was mine. Yeah. The reason I built this company was because I saw a lot of mediocrity in the world. People would just wake up, go to work, go home, go to sleep. Maybe they drop their kids off inside of there, spend 2 hours with their kids, and then go to sleep and do it all over again, right? And you know, when I was working at the state, I saw a lot of that. People were like, I've been here 10 years, I just gotta get 15 more in, and then I'll go live my life. And it was like, what? You've been doing this for 10 years?
And you gotta wait another
15? And then you're planning on living your life?
Right.
No, that's not what I'm gonna do. And then it was also seeing just like a lot of the agencies, and I don't know if this is true for the world, but a lot of the agencies here in Sacramento were very vanilla, you know? And so for me to walk into an agency like me and who I am, I didn't fit that. And so for me, it was like, if I can't fit in there, why would I try and fit in there? Why not just create what I want? And it's kind of like that, be the change you want to see, right? So that was it. That was the problem that I was trying to solve. Like, I want young people of color to see that this is possible. Like, you can create a life for yourself that doesn't fit into one of the molds. And hopefully people see that in me and say like, yo, that's possible. Or at least, yo, let me try that. You know, and so I think deep down that's really what it was. It's just that mediocrity and like not wanting to be that guy.
Not starting to live your life at 60?
Yeah, not starting to live my life at 60 when I have like a beer belly.
Oh, good.
Living off of like old dreams, you know. So,
the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Cool.
Yeah, that'd be it.
Thanks, Roshaun.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. And thanks to all the students. Thank you for your questions.
We had some good ones. So, yeah. Cool.
All right.
Well, we'll have to do this again.
Anytime.
That's not work related.
Anytime. Let's do it.
Cool. All right.
Peace.
We out.